Moore's Law. It is the technological prophecy that literally built our modern digital world. Let's dive right in. So, despite the name, Moore's Law isn't actually a strict rule of physics. It's really more of an empirical observation. Basically, it dictates that the number of transistors we can cram into an integrated circuit doubles roughly every 2 years, and it does so with a minimal increase in cost. It is a pure experience curve effect. It simply quantifies those incredible efficiency gains we get from learned experience in mass production.
The seeds of this observation were planted pretty early on. Back in 1959, Douglas Engelbart was already studying the projected downscaling of integrated circuits. Then, in 1965, Intel co-founder Gordon Moore made his famous initial prediction. At the time, he noticed components were doubling every single year, and he guessed that pace would hold up for a decade. But, well, science and engineering take a little time to settle into a rhythm. By 1975, after looking at the hard data, Moore revised his forecasts to the doubling every 2 years that we all know today.
Now, what actually made this microscopic magic possible? Gordon Moore wasn't just blindly guessing here. He outlined specific drivers: the advent of MOS technology, an exponential increase in die sizes coupled with way lower defect densities, finer minimum dimensions, and, my personal favorite, what he delightfully dubbed circuit and device cleverness. These are the exact ingredients that allowed manufacturers to continuously hit that rapid exponential growth.
But here is where it gets really interesting. This observation quickly triggered a massive economic shift. You see, Moore's Law didn't just passively track progress, it actively drove it. It became a self-fulfilling prophecy. It transformed into the ultimate target, the guiding roadmap for the entire semiconductor industry. It challenged researchers globally, and it gave early tech startups the absolute confidence to pour billions of dollars into R&D. They knew that if they could just hit that 2-year doubling mark, they would stay competitive and change the world.
To really grasp the mind-bending scale of how successful this roadmap has been, just consider a modern GB22 graphics processor. It holds over 92.2 billion transistors. 92.2 billion! It is absolutely staggering to think about that level of microscopic density, especially when you compare it to the earliest integrated circuits from the 1960s, which only held a handful of components. And all of this density fuels a continuous virtuous cycle. As transistors shrink down in size, our computational performance skyrockets, and quality-adjusted consumer prices just plummet. I mean, this is exactly why your digital camera today has vastly more pixels, your sensors are hyper-accurate, and your smartphone packs significantly more computing power than the massive systems that sent astronauts to the moon. And the crazy part, it's all become relatively more affordable over time.
But of course, there is a massive economic catch. While consumer costs for computing power fall exponentially, producers are getting heavily squeezed by Moore's second law, also known as Rock's Law. This dictates that the capital costs of building semiconductor fabrication plants actually increases exponentially over time. Basically, to keep shrinking these transistors, manufacturers need immensely expensive tools, like extreme ultraviolet lithography machines. Because of this, the cost of manufacturing tools and building those fab plants roughly doubles every 4 years.
And complicating that financial squeeze is a very real physical one. Back in 1974, a researcher named Robert Dennard formulated Dennard scaling. He predicted that as transistors get smaller, their power density stays constant. That meant you could run smaller chips much faster without them drawing excessive power. Sounds great, right? Well, that inverse relationship fundamentally broke down in the mid-2000s when we hit a thermal wall. Chips were just getting too hot. This is a massive reason why single-core processor speeds stopped improving as dramatically, and it forced the entire industry to pivot to the multi-core designs we see in our laptops right now.
So with R&D costs soaring and these physical limits looming large, tech titans are completely divided. In 2022, NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang boldly declared Moore's Law is dead. He pointed to the very real data showing that the year-over-year exponential scaling of computer performance has slowed down industry-wide, dipping slightly below that historical pace Gordon Moore originally predicted.
However, let's look at the flip side of this high-stakes debate. Literally just days after Huang's declaration, Pat Gelsinger, the then CEO of Intel, countered with the exact opposite claim. He flat-out stated, Moore's Law is alive and well. He argued that the industry is still finding brilliant engineering workarounds. As Gordon Moore himself once said, there always seems to be an impenetrable barrier down the road. But as we get closer to it, people inevitably come up with solutions. This stark contrast perfectly proves just how deeply split the semiconductor industry is right now on the future of this guiding principle.
Regardless of who is technically right about the exact raw transistor count, the industry's approach has undeniably evolved. Instead of just obsessing over raw transistor scaling, the primary semiconductor roadmap has shifted to a more than more strategy. Today, innovation is driven by specific applications. We're talking about optimizing architectures for the exact demands of smartphones or massive data centers, natively integrating AI and machine learning into hardware, developing entirely new chip architectures, and aggressively exploring quantum computing. Progress isn't just about making things smarter anymore. It's about making them smarter, highly specialized, and incredibly efficient.
Which brings us to a final thought for you to chew on. If the tech world is successfully pivoting to all these new ways of scaling performance through AI, quantum tech, and custom application-driven architectures, does the physical demise of Moore's original law actually matter for the future of the digital revolution? If our devices just keep getting faster and more capable through new engineering tricks, perhaps the exact transistor count is no longer the magic metric it once was. Thanks for joining this explainer. See you next time.